Here we are. It's hard to believe it's been a whole season since we first opened the gates to Grand State's MidAmerica. I'll admit, when we first started out, I wasn't sure what this park would become. It was just some dreams sketched out on some napkins and scraps of paper. A place where families could come together, make memories, and maybe even forget about the worries of the world for just a little while. We've had our fair share of hiccups along the way, tight budgets, long nights, and more than a few meetings that got just a little bit too heated. But seeing it all come together has been nothing short of magic. The laughter echoing throughout the park, the kids' eyes lighting up on their first ride, the smell of funnel cakes in the air. It's everything I hoped it would ever be. This place, it isn't just about the rides or the games or the food. It's about the people, our guests, our team, and even the folks who've been sharing their ideas with us along the way. You've all helped shape this park into something better than I could have ever imagined. So thank you for being part of this journey. Now, let's take one last stroll around the park, and I'll meet you at the end to talk about where we go from here. BeyondDrewTV here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our last episode for the opening season of Grand State's MidAmerica. So yeah, this has been such a fun first season to get this park going and this series going. And yeah, I'm really excited to show off the last little bits of details that I added in, the last little bits of rides, and kind of discuss with you all what our plans are moving forward from here. Because I have a few lines of thought, but I kind of want to throw it out to the community since you all have been really responsive to kind of questions and everything like that. So, but yeah, before looking forward in the project, let's go ahead and talk about what's in front of us here, right? So we are starting pretty much where I left off the last episode with some new additions. We are right outside of our historic village here. And last time we had, I think two different buildings out there, plus our little coin-operated boats there. And yeah, I threw it out to you all. What should we go ahead and do for some new buildings? And yeah, we had some great suggestions. One of them I kind of had an idea of. The other one I didn't at all. And that's going to be the, go ahead and be the MidAmerica Church here. So yeah, shout out to the few of you that suggested we do a little church. I think that's such a fun idea, right? I kind of see these things in historic villages all the time. So yeah, I went ahead and added in just a little historic church here. Renamed it the MidAmerica Church, and I think it's Silver Dollar City and Dollywood. It could be one of the other or both of those parks. I think they actually do have like a real church inside the park, and on Sundays and like Easter and Christmas holiday and stuff like that, I think they actually have church services. So I think it'd be kind of cool for this park to actually have some sort of maybe special events, or every Sunday they have some an actual church service, right? So, and then right next to it, we have the basically the star of the little historic village here, just because it's the brightest and poppiest of the buildings here, and this is going to be our Sinclair Gas Station. So yeah, if you haven't seen these before, they are based off of real life gas stations. Pretty sure Sinclair is still around today. Can't tell you the last time I've been to one though. So but yeah, these are the gas stations that have the dinosaur, the green dinosaur, for their logo, and I tried really hard to get that to work in there, but I could not for the life of me make a little dinosaur, so I just kind of made up my own stuff. But yeah, no, found this recreation on Pinterest and went ahead and tried my hand at giving this building a go, and I really like how it turned out. It's just kind of one of those throw stuff at it buildings. So as you can see, we used a lot of the resort different like posters and advertisements and stuff like that. Used a lot of the in-game font pieces that work out really well for this and everything. So yeah, and then I had kind of took my hand trying to make some of the gas pumps here, and yeah, the little green symbol in front there, I was trying to make a dinosaur, and I just kind of said, heck it, I can't do it. And I just kind of put that kind of symbol on the front there, but those are supposed to be the gas pumps. So yeah, no, I really like how our little historic village turned out. I thought this was such a fun little idea, and really in the coming years, in the coming episodes, we do have one more plot of land next to our general store, the green building right there, but I went ahead and left it empty for now, just because I mentioned this before in previous episodes, but a lot of times in these parks, when they first open up the first season, or like in the early 70s and stuff like that for the parks, you see a lot of these big green open spaces with really like a lot of nothing, just big kind of like park spaces, not really walled off, not gated off or anything. yeah, just basically just little green spaces. So I'm trying to keep that in mind as I build up the first season of the park here, to kind of have some just random green spaces and not kind of wall or gate everything off. So yeah, but again, that is our Mid-America Historic Village. Love how this turned out. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump forward, because there's a lot of fun other little details to show out for the episode today. All right, here we are over by the Paul Bunyan Lumberjack Show, the Loggers Leap, and the Mid-America Amphitheater. And speaking of those green spaces I was just talking about, I have a lot of those over here as I started to get into the newer areas I was building for this episode. And again, just really wanted to keep that in mind, keeping open a lot of green spaces and kind of all that fun stuff. So, but anyways, as we are over here, wanted to touch on some really fun community suggestions, some common suggestions that you all had for specifically here the Shamrock Cafe to start us off. So a lot of these suggestions are going to come from Haunted Shadows Legacy 2826. They watch, I'm pretty sure, just about every one of these episodes, and they're always commenting some great suggestions. But they went ahead and suggested that we plant some of these white heathers, I believe they're called here. So have some of these flowers here that you commonly see in I think it's Ireland or something like that. But anyways, then also we have some menu suggestions for this area as well, and a lot of them came from Haunted Shadows Legacy. Che Hancock and Sierra Lance had some really great suggestions for names. So we have the Pot of Gold Nuggets, the Leprechaun Fingers French Fries, the Rainbow Delight Fruit Parfait. On the other side, we'll have the Clover Shake, the Green River Soda, and the Green River Malt, which I'm told those were actual, or are actual drinks, and it just kind of seemed like they would fit into this area really well. And of course, our Shamrock Wings. So yeah, shout out to everyone for your suggestions for the Shamrock Cafe, and I'm so glad that everyone kind of took a liking to this little corner over here. So speaking of community suggestions, let's keep them going here. We'll go right around the corner to our Alpine Buildings. If you remember these way back when, and I think it was the second episode, we had Because Race Car go ahead and suggest to make this into a kind of a fest house or a beer house or something like that, that you would see at specifically Kings Island has something very, very similar to this. I'm getting a phone call right now. That's okay, I'll call him back. But anyways, no, they have a fest house that's a giant hall where you can have like stage shows and big like beer garden festivals and a lot of restaurants inside there and everything. So I kind of did the same idea, and we inserted in some of these really fun kind of arcade games and different kiddie rides and stuff like that. These are all made by Josh and the Acid Panda. Made a lot of these games that you're seeing here, and I just love how they turned out, right? You got the wave, all these coin pushers, the change machine that looks just right up our alley there, and then on the other side, like I said, this is from the Acid Panda. This is a coin-operated kiddie ride. I can't believe that this isn't like an actual ride in game. It just looks like it's made so well using the new animation pieces. And then, yeah, over here from Josh again, we have all of these different prize claws, some more token machines, some pinball machines. And then speaking of these, before we look at the rest of this, let's go across to the Pennycade real quick. Wow, these LODs are really bad now. I don't know what happened. Since the recent update, it seems like the LODs on a lot of the letters here are really bad. You have to get really close now to actually see what it actually says. But anyways, over at the Pennycade, yeah, went ahead and added in a lot of more neon and a whole bunch more of these arcade units here. So it's starting to look more like that classic 80s kind of arcade and everything like that, right? So, but let's zoom back across to the area across here to the Best Worst House. That's what it's called there if you didn't catch the name. The interior of it, except for what I showed you, doesn't have anything at the moment, but moving on in the park, we may change that up and I may actually do an interior for it. Because yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to have an interior stage show kind of thing. But I always go 50-50 on interiors because it's one of those things where you show it off one time and then you're never going to see it again unless unless you purposely go in there, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, do I take the time to build it? Maybe, we'll see. So, but anyways, we have a new dock on the backside here of the river, and just, yeah, always trying to use the river as much as we can for docks and kind of walkways and all that kind of fun stuff, right? So, but yeah, there is, again, big shout out to Because Race Car for that awesome idea. I think that fits in perfectly well over here. And yeah, there is the best worst house where you can go get your, you know, your worst dogs, your all your good German dogs and beer and all that kind of fun stuff there. So swinging around to the side here, added in some more fun things from the workshop. This is going to be from Kinetic again. I feel like we feature a build from Kinetic just about every single time that we do an episode, because they are building a very similar park to this project here, so all of their stuff usually fits in really, really well. But we have some really fun Midway games, and look how awesome these are. Yeah, we have the skee ball Midway bowling. Looks perfect there. Love that. And then right next to it, we have the Midway Fun balloon pop, I believe it is there. So, and yeah, actually, I forgot to do it. I'll actually do it right now. You can actually open this to get a cast member to hang out right there. And yeah, actually have people go up to it. So yeah, really love how these two fit in so well with the park in this little area of the park, actually. This is a really busy little area of the park with our Pennycade, the Best Worst House, and then our Midway games. Oh, and then also I took one of Silverette's pieces that he had from one of his projects and shrunk it way down and just kind of added in a random fairy tale, a little random like castle piece here. I've mentioned that in past episodes, but parks like Knoebels or Kennywood, they do that kind of stuff all the time where it's like, does this thematically make sense? Nope, but it's cool, so we're gonna put it there. And that's kind of one of those things I want to keep going in this project, is just kind of randomly putting out just kind of random thematic elements because it looks cool. So also in this area, like I said, I did so many random little bits. I'm gonna miss talking about them because, again, I did a lot over the Christmas break that I kind of had there, the 2 weeks away from uploading. But so yeah, I did a lot during that time. But one of the things that I'm noticing here real quick is that I did change some colors up, and you might notice that. One of the big ones is going to be the Ferris wheel. I changed that to our park colors of that kind of red and white, and also the gondola chairlift section here, changed that to the red and white. I really like that red and white, and I think that works well for the park colors as of now. So tried my hand at going around to all of the flags. That was a big part too. If you see little flags on top of buildings, try to change all those to the red and white. We also added in a lot more planters. If you look around, there's gonna be a lot more trees, a lot more planters, a lot more path planters as well, which we'll get to see in areas. There are a lot of people that suggested, hey, you have all these wide open path areas, maybe we get some more shading in there as well. So I think we have a good balance between some more planters and shade, and still having that wide open 70s nostalgic feel of wide open pathways. So next up, since we meandered our way over here, speaking of Kinetic, before we talk about the thing on the right, they also built this Pluck-a-Duck, or Hook-a-Duck, excuse me, not Pluck-a-Duck, Hook-a-Duck little Midway game as well. So again, I'm going to really try to get more of these amazing Midway games as they pop up on the workshop, and also try my hand at building my own, but I'm not the greatest at these things. So many of you are really great at building these things and uploading them to the workshop, so I'll just go ahead and use those. But yeah, no, I had the Hook-a-Duck that we added in over here, right next to our, oh, I love this build so much. I had so much fun with this. Our 1970s playground. And yeah, this is where we separate the boys from the men, basically. This is a straight up death machine of a playground, and yeah, if you are of a certain age, a lot of this is going to look familiar, right? If you've been to playgrounds nowadays, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing at all, but they are very much toned down, I'll say, from the old days of you're on your own, figure it out, have fun. If you fall and bust your head open, well, you know, everything's made out of metal pipes. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Where today everything's a little bit more plastic, more, you know, protective and everything. And again, that's not a bad thing. That's probably way more logical and sensical since kids are already accident prone as it is. But anyways, the whole point being, yeah, this is a death trap of a playground since it is a 1970s playground. So everything is made out of metal and bolts and screws and jagged edges, and you know, you climb up on the on the jungle gym, and hey, again, if you fall through the middle of it and chip your tooth, well, hey, that's a good story that you have now, isn't it? So but yeah, there are a lot of fun little retro attractions here. I've used all of these attractions except for this one here, and I don't even they called it a merry-go-round, and that's okay. Sure, if you want to call that a merry-go-round, but essentially you would get everyone on top of this thing. You would stand on it, and you would spin it around as fast as you could, to the point where some of them were single as well. Instead of having this all as one unit spinning around, they would have like single things that people would stand on, and it would like launch them up as it was spinning with centripetal force. And I don't know how any of us made it out of the 70s through 90s alive, basically. So, but yeah, no, again, I had so much fun making this little playground area with the sandbox in the back there and everything. And yeah, no, so this is a really fun little bit here. This is up on the workshop, so if you haven't checked out my workshop, I do have a lot of items from Grand States Mid-America. So I do have the Death Trap Playground items up on the playground, or up on the workshop, excuse me, if you'd like to check it out. And also, while we're over here, because you know you'd see a lot of your parents doing this while you were playing on the playground, had to go ahead and build an ashtray for for the park, not just for the playground. I scattered these all around the park as well. So for those of you who are a little bit younger, yeah, no, smoking used to be very, very common everywhere you went. And when I say everywhere, I meant you would go to the doctor's office and he'd come in, "Hi, what's wrong? You can't breathe? Well, I wonder why." And you'd be on an airplane, the dude next to you would light up and then you couldn't say anything really, you know? So yeah, no, there was a time when smoking was everywhere. So I went ahead and built this little ashtray stand here. This is also up on the Frontier Workshop if you'd like to add this into your parks as well. I do believe that there still are smoking sections in theme parks, but they are quickly going away to the point where it's like you can leave and then we'll stamp your hand and then you can come back in. Kind of like if you're going to eat your own lunch kind of thing. You got to leave the park. The last time we went somewhere, they made, I don't smoke personally, but someone in our group did, and they were like, "I have to leave the park and come back in." And we're like, "Oh, well, we'll see you in about a half hour because I'm not leaving the park so you can smoke a cigarette." But anyways, yeah, so I thought that was a fun little detail. And you'll see those scattered throughout the park there. So moving forward here a little bit, noticing more little items that I didn't build these personally, but added in some more of Kinetic's awesome like Funfair Carnival little kiosks here. Cause, oh man, these are so perfect, right? I love these, the look of these and everything. It's just so Funfair, so Carnival, and it just fits in so well. These are definitely one of those builds that like it won't stay that long as far as the series goes, but I just had to get it in here for the opening season because again, I think it just fits in so well over here. And then also added in a little restroom as well. Nothing too, you know, awesome about it, but it's a restroom. There it is, right? Mainly I had to add in a lot of restrooms to this episode. A lot, by a lot I mean two, because a lot of the guests were starting to do the pee-pee dance around the park. So I was like, whoopsie, I guess I got to add that in, right? So, but let's go ahead and move forward here towards, I guess what's the main addition of this episode. Again, there's a lot of like little additions all over the place, but I guess this would be the main addition. And as we're going over this way, again, you're going to see a lot more planters. These are the big planters right here that I added in, kind of all over the place. So shout out to everyone who suggested that. I think that's a great idea. And as we come over here, you'll notice it's a lot more shady. Yeah, basically took out a lot more spots in the open concrete and put in a lot more trees. And I wanted these trees to look really big, really grand, really grown out. Because again, if you remember, this whole park is built out of a forest that we chopped down, right? So I think it's a fun idea to keep some of these beginning area trees and have them be really grown up and really huge, so that they've like kind of been here for hundreds of years before the park got here. And you know, maybe they're kind of almost special, like the park is going to protect these trees for whatever reason, you know, throughout the park's history and everything. So you'll kind of always see these here. So, but anyways, yeah, as we're approaching over here to our very special trees, these are special trees, everyone, no touchy the special trees. We get to the fun part here, which is our big mat racer slides. And of course this little mini Ferris wheel, this little kitty Ferris wheel here. So but the mat racer slides in the background, we have 15 of them in total. This is taken from a real world inspiration, which is going to be from Kings Island. A lot of stuff from Kings Island. I love that park. The history of that park is amazing. Look into it if you haven't already. But anyways, they had an old attraction there that was a dry mat racer called Flying Carpets. There it is. It was called Flying Carpets. There was also a few different names. They moved it around the park a few different times. I think it was in the Hanna-Barbera land as well, and renamed it to something else, recolored it as well. So yeah, it went through a few different variations, but for us, yeah, we have our mat racer taking inspiration from there. So, but yeah, this is supposed, like I said, it's supposed to be a dry mat racer where you would take a burlap sack and kind of race down there and get going really, really fast. I've done a few of those before. They're really fun. Especially if you get there early in the morning right after they've kind of waxed the slides or cleaned them or something like that. You can get flying on these suckers. So yeah, my first iteration of this was to try it with art shapes, because as you can see, even when the ride is closed, water still goes down it and it makes the water noise. A little annoying, a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. So I tried it out of art shapes. That didn't look good as well. It was too bulky. So yeah, ended up doing the whole, just kind of using the in-game mat slides or mat racers without actually having them open. So that is what I kind of chose to do. And that's what we're sticking with. So, but yeah, I really like how this area turned out. Built the custom queue line. Again, took a lot of inspiration from I found this great reference photo on Pinterest of the flying carpets back in the 70s. And yeah, I love this sign here. Entrance, please. No eating or smoking while riding. So of course you can smoke and eat all the way up the stairs, all the way up to the top and everything. Excuse me, but right when you get to the top of it and have to ride it, nope, you gotta flick that butt out, buddy, or you gotta throw that Twinkie away, sister. So, but yeah, no, there's the big addition for this episode, just because it's so bright and it really envelops the park when you're looking at it from down below. You can't help but to just kind of glance over and look at that addition of the mat racers, just because it's so bright and in your face, and you know, America as well. I love those. That was the original colors of it too, was the red, white, and blue, and I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely putting that in MidAmerica, the red, white, and blue color scheme. So, but yeah, no, there are other small additions throughout the park, but we're not going to touch on them just because it's like random flags, I found some vending machines that were Pepsi on the workshop as well that fit in really well, but we're not going to go over all of those. Oh, the last thing, okay, I did forget this. Right down below us, we don't need to take a really big look at it. I did add a little picnic pavilion right outside of our MidAmerica amphitheater. I thought that'd be a really cool addition. It does hang out just above, what's that button? I don't know what I did. Anyways, it does hang out just above the amphitheater in terrain height, so you do get this really cool look, and you probably get some really good sounds as well if you hung out at the picnic pavilion while someone was performing at the MidAmerica amphitheater. So, but hey folks, that is it for this opening 1978 season. Man, what a journey it has been. I've been having so much fun with this project, and I hope you all have too. It seems like you all are really enjoying it as well, with all of your comments and suggestions. And as you can see, I've definitely been, jotting them all down. And if I don't get to them right away, I definitely will get to them eventually, because yeah, you all have some really great ideas. And yeah, speaking of that, let's put our heads together here just for a second, because I have two lines of thought for the future of Grand States MidAmerica. So my first thought is to progress the park forward by 10 years. So we put it into 1988. So that is a large gap of time to kind of move forward, and that's what kind of scares me about it, because a lot can happen in 10 years at a theme park. Shoot, a lot can happen in 1 year in a theme park, right? So, but the reason I'd go forward 10 years is that kind of just that reason, that we could kind of highlight a lot of stuff that changes in the 10 years. And I would do it similarly, where we would flash forward 10 years, but we'd still have multiple episodes per that time period to kind of show the changes to the park during that time period. So that's my first kind of thought, is to flash forward 10 years. The second one is to kind of do the same fast forward, but just not as forward. Maybe like 3 to 5 years, cut it in half or even less, and have smaller incremental time jumps, but still have the 3 to 4 episodes of showing what's changing within those time jumps. So yeah, I'm throwing it all out to you folks, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, because I am perfectly fine with either line of thinking, basically. So yeah, again, do you want to move forward 10 years and see the big changes to the park, or should we do it a little bit more incrementally and do more like 3 to 5 year type jump forward and everything. So definitely let me know what you think. And also, don't forget, if you'd like to explore the 1978 opening season of Grand States Mid-America, that file is up on the Frontier Workshop. I do share the code in the pinned comment down below. So go ahead and take that code, and you're going to jump into the Frontier Workshop. I'm just going to show this off because I've had a few people ask what's going on, how do you do that, and all that kind of fun stuff. Watch, the server's not going to communicate now. But yeah, so you go into the workshop, go to browse, and then there is the enter code, and go ahead and copy and paste the code right there, and then you'll be able to download and take a walk around Grand States Mid-America. So awesome. Hey, thanks so much everyone again for all of your support with this series. I'm so glad you're enjoying the heck out of it as much as I am. And yeah, no, let me know your thoughts on the last little additions to Grand States Mid-America and your thoughts moving forward as we keep moving this park down the timeline, right? So hey, thanks so much everyone, appreciate you as always. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button on the video and also subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, we will see you in the next episode of Grand States Mid-America.